Good morning and welcome to Trent Hills Today. My name is Susan and it's spring, and spring means gardens. And for those of you who don't know my guest, this is Muriel. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, and the weather is finally lovely.
This is a week in gardening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I don't know where you're living, but the bugs have also shown up. I've got my hat out with the little mask on the front.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. They were stinging 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know.
I live near Myersburg.
Oh, okay. Well, they get in your ears, and really, after that ice storm, you think we would have gotten some reprieve.
It's not fair.
No, it's not. And Muriel is with the
Campbellford and District Horticultural Society.
And she does a radio show too, so she's a celebrity,
Right.
unlike myself. And well, if you know anything about gardening in Campbellford, they'll say, you know Muriel, she'll know the answer. So last night we had a good meeting. There was a conversation or a presentation on gardening for climate change,
Yes.
which I thought was really interesting. I thought the topic discussed how we have a longer growing season, but we just got spring, so I think we've been ripped off about 2 or 3 weeks from what we're used to having.
Yes, but when fall comes, like when I was first gardening, you used to count on the second week of September as being safe. And after that, no. And now we get into October.
Well, I was posting pictures last year on my blog. My echinacea came up for a second time in October. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it was, and there were no bugs. So that was a
That's right.
So we're here today to talk about the plant sale. These little beautifully designed posters. Who did these, by the way? This is gorgeous.
Pam looks after orders from some company that she is connected with.
Oh, all right.
And she just kind of designs them and says, would you like this? What do you want on it? And
there you go.
they just appear.
I love the colors, and there's when you see it up close, you'll see there's tulips and pansies and stuff. So the plant sale in Campbellford is also probably as well known as you are.
Oh, I think a lot better known than I am.
So where is it held?
It is held really on Bridge Street, but where Bridge and Doxy meet, the Bank of Montreal in the corner, and we line up under those lovely young maple trees on the Bridge Street side of the Bank of Montreal.
So I heard you at the meeting saying that you had to bring your broom, so you clean up before you start, and you clean up after you start, because it gets a little wild out there.
You weed around the trees in the building before you start, and set up your tables, and maybe put a few tablecloths on, just to set the tone. But then you have to be ready to unload people's trucks and vans and that come in, because so many of us are not young chicks anymore.
Yep.
And we need a bit of help to unload, or else the whole thing is going to...
Well, I was saying to Muriel before we came on air, last year I was down at the garden sale, and one of the participants had a truckload of hostas, and I just said, backed up my truck and just said, push them on, I'll just take them, don't bother taking them to the ground. So what time does it... what time would you like it to start?
Well, you can plainly see it starts at 8 o'clock.
No, it doesn't. That's not true either.
The best things are sold by 20 after 8. We started about 20 to 7. Actually, sometimes the first customers have to wait for the cash box to arrive.
So come with exact change and you won't have to wait. There's a solution to every problem.
There is,
really.
Or if it comes to $3 or $4, give us a 5, because the money's going to beautify the whole of Trent Hills.
And that's one of the things. I was involved in a community event in another community, and a little different, but the bill came to $99, and I said, 100 will make it an even, and then the person looked at me, and I said, okay, so if you don't want to, go get one more item, and they sort of finally acquiesced. I mean, it's not that we're there to take money out of your pocket, but but just as I've said so many times on this show, we've got everybody showing up. We're working really hard. At the meeting, you listed a number of things that the money goes towards.
Yes.
So, show up. You're not the ones who have to go out in the garden and dig your plants, and you're not the ones who are going to be cleaning up and stuff. So really, buy $4 and give them $5.
Well, I was just kidding. If the cash box isn't there, you can give us 5, and then you're okay.
Yeah, give them 5 anyway. So you were saying what the money goes to, because this is one of your larger fundraisers.
This is one of we have 3 fundraisers.
Yeah.
2 of them are plant sales, one in spring and one in the fall.
Yeah.
And the other is the garden tour.
Yes, that's right.
And those are our fundraisers, and we support, do all the work and buy a lot of plants for the gardens in Campbellford.
Like the clock tower.
The clock tower, the entranceway park, that great garden that goes along the canal,
Yes.
great big one. Campbell Park and Picnic Island Park, which is a new endeavor, relatively new.
Okay.
Hard to work on, gravels, rock,
Campbellford.
And there's a group that garden every week. They're called Weedless Wednesday folks.
Yeah.
And they go out and take care of these fantastic gardens.
So not only are you benefiting from having lovely plants in your gardens, but you're also giving back to the community on many levels. You're supporting volunteers, you're supporting a community organization, but you're also beautifying our community, and I think that's a really, really big plus. Now, on the morning of the plant sale, when we all orderly arrive at 8 o'clock.
Yes, and we don't double park at all, and we don't take up the new parking zone beside the light.
And we're not all running out and grabbing everything and saying, oh, that's mine.
But the Bank of Montreal has a great parking lot right around the corner.
Yeah. No, I can't haul plants around the corner. I'm parking right out on the front.
Okay.
So we arrive orderly at 8 o'clock, and what can we expect to see in terms of plants that might be available? We have a bit of a late start to the spring, as you and I were talking.
Yes, I don't know how advanced the hostas will be this year. There will be some, but we don't know how much. Our big drive this year that's new is canna lilies. Last fall, our president and another girl, Carol, who does a lot of work with Ferris Park and
Carol Robertson, famous too.
Energy Incorporated. They went to planters throughout Trent Hills where they were given the canna roots if they would rescue them, keep them over winter, divide them, clean them, the whole bit.
Yeah.
And so we had a potting day, which just meant putting soil in pots. And then at a meeting, we took all these pots and all these roots, and members that could took them home and grew them.
Good.
So we now have somewhere close to 150 canna lilies,
Whoa.
although many have already been purchased.
Yes, I heard at the meeting that some people are bringing in some, and some people said, I've sold all mine. So.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who do live in Campbellford, those would have been the canna lilies you saw in the planters last year that lined the roadways, and
that was a lot of, and in front of the industrial, not the industrial building, but the Campbellford town offices and stuff like that.
So you know that they have weathered our weather in the summer. I mean, they weren't overwintered or anything, and they're orangey red.
They're an orangey red. They were planted last year to go with the red and white theme, but some of them are closer to orange.
Yeah.
Very, very bright.
Dark leaves.
Yes.
The burgundy leaves, for those of you who aren't familiar. So you're not getting the bright green and the luscious red. You're getting the deep brown, the deep burgundy kind of leaves with more of an orange flower, although there'll be the occasional redder one.
Yes, but they're not like we think of the old-fashioned green leaf red ones as being 6 feet tall. These are more like 3.5 to 4 feet.
So there you go.
So they fit into the back of your borders and.
Yeah, or even into planters.
Yes.
And, that'll be your thriller, and then they have some fillers and spillers, although there probably won't be too much room for fillers with the canna lilies in there.
Well, one thing about them is they go up more, so you can have things coming out around them because they aren't
huge,
big to the ground.
Now, how much will they be going for?
The smaller one's probably $5, and the most expensive $7 or 3 for $20.
$7. I mean, come on, we're breaking the bank there.
And we've been growing these forever.
So there you go. You're going to have gently loved, well cared for canna lilies at the sale. So those will be there. There's always hostas. What else was there last year? I think I bought a couple of other things.
Yeah, there'll be purple cone flowers.
Yes. Sometimes there's people who have started vegetables. You can get. I got at the meeting. I got tomato plants.
Yes.
So sometimes you can get some plants.
There will be tomato plants there. There's edible things besides that. Like I'll be taking rhubarb roots already started in pots.
Oh yes, and at the meeting, Muriel showed a rhubarb, lovely potted rhubarb, not one that's just been yanked out of the ground and handed to you. Here, take it home and bake a pie. So yes, that was. I thought that, no, but your point at the meeting about potting them really is well founded in that you know. Last year there were a lot of hostas laying on the ground, but that was an unusual situation.
Yes, it was. Someone had donated so many.
Now, speaking of donations, if somebody is out in their garden and wants to make a donation to the sale or wants to share their plants, how would they go about doing that?
Well, they can phone 705-653-4435, or they can phone the Campbellford radio station, who will let us know also.
Okay. So, and CKOL has a website, right?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. So you have a couple of ways. You can call the radio station. We'll give you the number again just before the end. So if you have plants that have come up, we were talking that my sedum has come up really well, my hostas barely, but if you have a really healthy large sedum and you want to make a contribution to the Horticultural Society, they'd be very happy to do that. We also ask that people bring boxes. I'm giving you some for the sale, so it's easier to take them home.
That's right. And any of the things that come up in the spring and you have too many, you can dig for that. One year, a lady and her husband who lived out your direction brought in a whole flat of the back of the truck full of Johnny Jump-Ups. Just dug and put on flat trays. They sold the whole thing and went back and loaded up the car again.
Oh, wow.
It's just whatever is on and you have too much of, just share it.
Yeah. So
some things multiply a lot and some don't.
Well, and every season we had that ice storm which set us back a little bit.
That's right.
Last year we had endless rain. And then, of course, the year before, although it didn't impact the sale because we didn't get the drought until June, July, and August. So actually, that was a pretty good year. Things came up really nicely that year. So again, the sale will be on May 19th.
And it is rain or shine, and we really hope it shines because it's a major fundraiser.
It won't impact anybody. The hardy souls will be out there. We'll be there, you know, getting what we can as quickly as we can. But then we'd be in and out, and maybe it would be over sooner. So
what there will be the early iris will be in bloom, so you'll know what you're getting. Whereas the later iris, you just take, if you're making an iris bed, you take what you get. Now, just so that some of you know, there are not usually evergreens. I've never seen, so there's no evergreens. Some of the ladies do share their peony, because I got one from Carol Ferguson. But there's not things like spirea or any of that, not usually. No, there'll be bleeding hearts.
Oh yes, that's a popular one, yeah.
And they grow well. And the beauty of putting them in pots is that if the person buys them and they're in a pot, as long as they keep them soaking wet, they can wait a few days. Whereas if you buy a dry root thing, you have to plant it right away.
Yeah, and the 19th will still be, although that's sort of the long weekend, isn't it?
The next weekend is the long weekend. That's the Lilac Festival.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to necessarily be putting things out because we've had unpredictable weather. So if you get them in pots, and I know you're asking everybody to put them in pots, you can take the pots into your garage, or even if you just put them under your roof, close to your, if you've got a covered porch, just bring them close so they get a bit of warmth. So Muriel, it sounds like we're going to be having a fun time. It's always a fun time. The ladies are always so good to anybody who has any questions. Give us the time, the location, and a phone number one more time for people.
Okay, they can phone any time, 653-4435. That's area 75. And the radio station is 653-1089.
1089, okay.
And they would see that the message got passed on to you.
So you'll be at the corner of Doxy and Bridge.
Yes.
Try and park politely. No shoving, no pushing, no grabbing. And if you can, please bring Cash, change, loonies, toonies, $5 bills, no 50s if you can help it. There is no credit and there is no debit, right? It's
That's
cash.
right. But for the first couple of hours, we do have a couple of young people to help you take your stuff to the truck, or if you're unloading, to help you bring your stuff from the truck.
Well, so there you go. So I hope to see a lot of you there. It'll be in 2 weeks. Please support yet another one of our community events. It's community helping community and volunteers who put a lot of time and effort into making our community what it is. Thank you, Miro.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, take care.